Thank you for joining me, Glenora Shipura, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, police cryptocurrency bust, which led to the arrest of 88 young Namibians, opens window into murky underworld run by transnational criminal networks. The 7th ICT Summit kicks off and NIPDB celebrates 1,000 days in office. Stick around for these stories and more news on NMH at 1.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
In our midday news update, the Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Peya Mushelenga, has officially opened the 7th National ICT Summit in Windhoek. The 3-day summit is taking place at the Mercure Hotel. The summit, which is expected to bring together hundreds of ICT experts and institutions, is being held under the theme Rethinking Cybersecurity Investment to Secure the Digital Economy and Its Opportunities. It will create a platform for the ICT industry to discuss trends and challenges facing the industry. Let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to address you today with a sense of reverence and eagerness as we gather for the much anticipated 7th National ICT Summit. This gathering is taking place during the Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and it offers a valuable occasion for contemplation on the dangers posed by cyber attacks and the necessary steps to protect our critical infrastructure. We are at a historical juncture whereby the dynamic realm of information and communication technology presents both significant opportunities and challenges. The theme of this year's summit is
Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia. We get into this right after the break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Getting into our visual news, starting us off, Nampol Deputy Major General Elias Motota gives feedback on a major blow that Nampol suffered last week, where 20 suspects and 88 young Namibian accomplices were arrested. This cryptocurrency bust has provided a window into a murky underworld run by transnational criminal networks, which appear to have infiltrated the country. During a police raid at a house in Osblik, the police have since seized 163 computers, 350 mobile phones, 6 vehicles, 12 firearms, ammunition, drugs, protected resources, and $365,447 million in cash. Let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, fellow officers present, I invited you today to share in significant development of law enforcement, where our dedicated police officer has made a crucial breakthrough by arresting suspects in high-profile cases on Tuesday, 3rd October 2023. The Namibian Police Force, in collaborations with key stakeholders, staged intelligence-led simultaneous sting police operations. The Namibian Police Force, in collaboration with key stakeholders, staged an intelligence and led simultaneous sting police operation in Windhoek, which targeted the residential premises and office buildings. There are 6 residents which were in Ouwasblik, Klein Coupe, and Klein Windhoek, as well as 1 building, namely Raylon Investment Close Corporation, situated on the 3rd floor of Shapomba Towers building. These residence and business buildings were used by foreign nationals to recruit Namibian youth to scam foreign investors from known countries under the pretext of investment. During the police operation, a total number of 20 suspects, including 11 Chinese, 5 Zimbabweans, 2 Namibians, 1 Singaporeans, 1 Cuban national were arrested. Additionally, 88 Namibian youth nationals being accomplished to the committed crimes were also apprehended. In the process, the police seized so far 163 computers, 350 mobile phones, 6 motor vehicles, 12 firearms, ammunition, drugs, protected resources, and a cash amount of 365,447 Namibian.
The Namibian Investment Promotion and Development Board recently celebrated 1,000 days in office at an event last Friday hosted to commemorate this milestone. The NIPDB CEO Nangula Wanje spoke about the institution's role. Let's take a look.
And we are grateful to everybody who has played a role in making sure that this institution was birthed. And we owe those people not only our gratitude, we owe them the fruit of what they foresaw. Are we relevant as an organization? Should we exist? Why should government pay $1 more Namibian dollar to this institution for us to exist? We need to ask ourselves that question. And therefore, celebrating this one, 1,000 days, I think to the team it was critical to say we are doing it, the celebration of unlocking opportunities together.
There was a perception that existed, I don't know whether it still exists, that our presence at Dubai was merely to have a party, was merely to celebrate. And we're not judging celebration, we're not judging partying, we are here for that very important cause today. But I would like you to share with us what exactly does it take to be present on such a platform, what the engagements entailed in broad strokes, but most importantly, what have we seen, what have we accomplished post Expo Dubai 2020 that we do know happened in 2021 because of the pandemic.
So when we look at Dubai, I am very, very comfortable of the cost we have spent in Dubai, that Namibia, I think, should be comfortable that the cost that Namibia has spent on at Expo in Dubai to getting the exposure that we got was actually a very, very, almost like value for money, if I can put it that way. Did we meet the right people? Did we hold the right events? Did we make the right messages? And I believe if you look at some of the figures that I'm showing to you in our FDI landscape that have been showed here, the figures that we have shown in private sector confidence, part of it could be at the noises that we made as part of that. If you want a contract, unfortunately, you will not be able to get a contract. But if you want evidence of saying, has there been result, I think that evidence is there.
Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment on the other side of this.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Getting into today's daily newspapers, Namibian Sun reports that SWAPO Vice President Netubo Nandi-Ndaitwah says there is an onslaught against the ruling party that is aimed at reversing the gains the party has made over the years. Nandi-Ndaitwah made the remarks during a rally held in Omuthia in the Oshikoto region over the weekend. While stressing that SWAPO was coming under attack, she said, "We must be mindful that it is no secret that SWAPO party, just like other former liberation movements in Southern Africa, is under a persistent, aggressive and calculated onslaught by those whose aim is to reverse the gains of our revolution." Moving on to the Namibian Sun's page 4, a recent survey has shown that nearly half of Namibian schoolgirls described their school's hygiene and menstrual management facilities as inadequate, while over 70% said they did not obtain the necessary support for menstruation-related health issues. Close to 30% of the schoolgirls said menstrual challenges affected their school performance. In addition, Ayeshwa Wentworth, Director of Programs and Quality Assurance at the Education Ministry, recently cautioned that all our attention cannot only be focused on girls' needs. The University of Namibia has conducted studies that show we are leaving the boys behind. They also need hygienic products. She made this statement shortly after the Deputy Education Minister, Faustina Kalei, objected to a motion in Parliament to provide free sanitary products to schoolgirls. Now moving over to the Republicans' front page, after 6 years, there is still no trace of the farm workers Bernard Niebeb, Rodney Willemse, Gershon Willemse and Siegfried Uirap after they were reported missing on the 11th of September 2017. The four men were out on bail of $500 million each in connection with a charge of livestock theft against them. According to family members, they were negotiating with the farm owner in question to drop the complaint and let them return to work. Two of the correctional officers who were suspended due to the suspicion that they had a hand in the escape of the Chinese rhino horn smuggler Wang Hui have been found guilty. Deputy Commissioner General Mariana Martin of the Namibian Correctional Services told our sister newspaper, Namibian Sun, that based on an investigation following Wang's escape, 3 officers have been suspended pending the outcome of follow-up investigations and any subsequent disciplinary processes. The Allgemeine Zeitung's front page highlights international events. Israel attacks in the Gaza Strip in response to the major Hamas attack on Israel, which have resulted in hundreds of deaths this weekend, with about 2,000 Palestinians injured. The Israeli Air Force fired on target belonging to Hamas, which rules in the Gaza Strip, after the deadly major attack by Palestinian militants in Israel, in which around 300 people were killed. On the Allgemeine Zeitung's page 2, as fearsome as your huge front teeth may be, hippos cannot chew well with them. Now, researchers recently came to the amusing conclusion in a report in the magazine PLOS ONE. Hippos protect themselves and their territory with their massive teeth. However, some of the teeth interlock or impede jaw movements, preventing hippos from chewing efficiently using the side-to-side grinding technique that other herbivores use, the scientists said. Do stick around for more newspaper review after the break.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. play Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
We continue with our newspaper review. The Namibian's front page reports that the thorny issue of making DNA testing compulsory, especially in maintenance matters, is currently sowing division among parliamentarians. Some say this test will cause more tension among families, and others believe it will help solve the issue of children growing up without fathers. Now, according to New Era's page 3, the media ombudsman John Nakuta is set to study an editorial that allegedly led to the suspension of New Era managing editor Jonathan Bierkes. The editor's suspension allegedly came after Bierkes wrote an editorial piece titled "No Confidence in Secretive Judiciary." On to the New Era's page 3, nearly 520,000 people in Namibia are suffering from at least one type of mental illness. Specialist psychiatrist Adamasu Magus said this number is very alarming and cannot be ignored. Magus shared the statistics on Friday during the commemoration of World Suicide Prevention and Mental Health Day hosted in Oshakati under the theme "Mental Health is a Universal Human Right." Walvis Bay municipal councillors were divided over a decision to sell residential erven in KZN to Tunakor during a meeting in Chambers on Wednesday. Now, Tunakor Limited applied to acquire unsurveyed and unserviced single residential erven to build affordable housing for their employees. The matter was tabled in March 2023. According to the council's agenda, the company did not apply for a specific location, but consultations between the municipality and Tunakor yielded a mutual agreement that F8635 in Kisebmund would best suit the applicant's needs. Moving over to Market Watch, the depreciating South African rand to which the Namibian dollar is pegged is increasing Namibia's import bill. However, the depreciating currency is good for Namibian export earnings. According to Simony Storm, during August, the rand experienced a significant depreciation of 5.8% against the US dollar, reaching a peak exchange rate of 19 rands and 17 cents per dollar. This depreciation has translated into higher costs for both Namibian consumers and businesses when it comes to importing goods. A new report submitted to the government outlines the severe financial hardship experienced by major malls and shopping centers in Namibia due to the COVID-19 pandemic. More on this as we get into economic news right after this.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Getting into our economic news, a new report submitted to the government outlines the severe financial hardship experienced by major malls and shopping centers in Namibia due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The most significant losses were attributed to the reduced number of customers and lower rental fees. The findings are contained in a report by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Economics and Public Administration that looked into how the central business districts of Windhoek, Oshakati, and Ongwediva and their associated shopping centers and malls were affected as a consequence of the pandemic. The report paints a gloomy picture of how retail properties in Windhoek were affected, most on account of reduced foot traffic and requests on the part of renters for reduced rental monthly fees. Vernal Park experienced a 75% loss in the foot traffic from about 1.2 million customers to about 300,000 as a result of the pandemic. Let's take a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.56, against the euro at 20.39. 2 Namibian dollars and 66 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the NSX, Capricorn Investment Group went up at 0.10%, while the other stock remained the same. Overall index went up at 0.62% and local index closed at 0.01%, also going up. On the commodities market, gold, platinum, Brent crude oil and copper all went up, with Brent crude oil trading at 0.40%, going for $88.20 per barrel. Britain's Supreme Court is due to begin 3 days of hearings about the government's plan to send some asylum seekers who crossed the English Canal to Rwanda. News from Africa gets us into this story.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Getting into our news from Africa, more than 100 people, including women and the elderly, have been detained by police following protests in the east of Angola, local authorities said on Sunday. The local Interior Ministry of the Eastern Lunda Sul province said in a statement a group had entered the public highway, creating obstacles for passers-by and causing security problems. The protesters, also including children, were demonstrating against the government, high living costs, alleged state corruption, and service delivery. According to authorities, the demonstrators acted in rebellion by throwing stones and sharp objects and damaging 2 police vehicles. As a result of unruly behavior, 132 individuals were detained, including 92 men aged between 18 and 78 years and 45 women aged between 19 and 58 years. A statement said no deaths or injuries were reported. After this short break, we get into your international news. The Palestinian group Hamas's surprise assault on Israel Saturday and Israel's retaliation have killed more than 1,100 people and focused attention on the Iran-backed Islamist group. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on Sunday that Iran has not yet been able to spend a single dollar of the $6 billion in funds that were unfrozen in a U.S.-Iran prisoner swap in September. Blinken also said he had not yet seen evidence that Iran directed or was behind this particular attack, but there is certainly a long relationship. In August, details were made public of a complicated agreement that President Joe Biden approved. 5 U.S. citizens detained by Tehran were allowed to leave the country in exchange for the transfer of $6 billion in Iranian funds that had been frozen in South Korea. At the same time, 5 Iranians held in the United States were allowed to leave. The $6 billion was Iranian money that had been frozen in South Korean banks. Now, after this short break, we get into your local sports news. Namibia's Brave Gladiators played their first Group C match on Friday, drawing 1-1 with Botswana. The Namibians started on the front foot, taking the lead barely 6 minutes into the game, courtesy of Millicent Hikwam's strike. Botswana, however, eventually finished the first half strongly, giving their opponents nervous moments with a succession of free kicks in dangerous areas. By the end, Botswana had seized the advantage and came back strongly in the second half to claim the equalizer through Mokowaka's free kick. The Namibians will face Zimbabwe today at 3:30 p.m. in their second Group C clash. Sadly, Tigers Football Club chairman Nelson Akwenye has confirmed that several of their team members were involved in a car accident en route back to Windhoek following their Depmarine Namibia Premiership matches played in the northern parts of the country. The accident occurred about 90 kilometers towards Okahanja. Let's take a look at our international sports news. Barcelona's Spain winger Lamine Yamal became La Liga's youngest goal scorer, aged 16 years and 87 days after he stroked the ball home from close range at Granada on Sunday. Yamal, who in August set the record as Barca's youngest debutant in an official match, became Spain's youngest ever international and scorer at 16 years and 57 days when he made his debut away to Georgia in a Euro 2024 qualifier in September. Arsenal coach Mikel Arteta said their first victory over champions Manchester City in 8 years on Sunday sends a message to his team that they must keep believing. The Gunners had not enjoyed a league victory over City in 15 matches, having lost the previous 12 in a row before Sunday's clash at the Emirates between last season's title rivals. After a closely fought match, substitute Gabriel Martinelli struck late on to secure a 1-0 win and sent the Emirates into delirium as the Gunners moved level on 20 points with league leaders and fierce rivals Tottenham Hotspur. Now, world number 2 Iga Swiatek aced to a WTA Tour leading fifth title this year by crushing unseeded Russian Ludmila Samsonova 6-2, 6-6 in the China Open final on Sunday to tighten her battle with Aryna Sabalenka for the year's and #1 spot. Now, Swiatek shed tears of joy after her 69th-minute masterclass, which left the 4-times Grand Slam champion 465 points behind the top-ranked Sabalenka and with a big chance to leapfrog the Belarusian at the WTA finals in Cancun, Mexico. Do stay tuned for more NMH after the break. The Namibia media professionals this morning staged a peaceful protest at the New Era. Let's take a look.
Bring back Jonathan Piekes! Bring back Jonathan Piekes! Bring back Jonathan Piekes! Bring back Jonathan Piekes! Amandla! Oneuptwo! Down, Christopher, let's get down! Down! Down, Christopher, let's get down! Down! Down, Christopher, let's get down! Down! Down, New Era, down! Down! Down, New Era, down! Down! Down, New Era, down! Down! Bring back Jonathan Piekes! Bring back!
With that, we've come to the end of our show. Do remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1. From me, Glenn Rashipura, until next time.